Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Avery Raquel, and thank you so much for being here for another episode of the Quarantini Cocktail Hour. Happy spring, everybody. It's so beautiful outside. It's been beautiful outside for the past week, and I love it. It makes me so unmotivated to finish schoolwork. It's quite bad. But that's okay. I think it'll be over before we know it. So I'm just trying to take it all in. So we have two really wonderful guests on the show today. And I mentioned last time that I was going to start to do kind of a new segment partnered up with RBCX Music, which is super exciting. They've been of great support of the First Up program. And we sent out the memo to RBC, and then they asked artists to be on the show. And we were overwhelmed with a bunch of artists saying that they would be thrilled to be on. And so I'm not complaining. I'm so excited to talk to all these artists. So it'll be happening throughout the next few shows, more than few. So I'm very excited. And we have one of those guest artists from the First Up program on today. So I'll be talking to them, and I'm excited, but I'll talk about them later on. So yeah, I'm going to do a couple songs to start us off, and then I will bring on our first guest. And yeah, so let's get into it. This song kind of gives me a spring vibe. I don't know why, but it's by this artist named Emily King. I think she's from the UK. She kind of gives me that vibe. I'm not actually sure, but she's super wonderful. She has some great albums out, and you should give her a listen. But this is a song by her. It's called Distance, and it gives me a spring vibe, but especially this first verse, and I think you'll see why. It's super colorful and nice to listen to. Anyways, this is called Distance. Hey love, time to get up. I think you've been sleeping too long. My day started when you were still yawning. One room just ain't enough when it's two folks trying to get along. But it's hard to leave you alone. Ooh, love is always better when we take time to get back to who we are. When we are apart, distance makes the heart grow. Even when I'm lonely, happy knowing that your love is never far. When we are apart, distance makes it makes the leaves on the trees fall. It makes the hours and the days long. It makes me wanna clear my head, find a little cafe and write the words to a song. And I know that I'm still free, be anywhere that I wanna be. Maybe get dressed up, wear something real pretty that you ain't never seen. Ooh, love is always better when we take time to get back to who we are. When we are apart, distance makes the heart grow. Even when I'm lonely, happy knowing that your love is never far. When we are apart, distance makes the hey love, time to get up. I think you've been sleeping too long. My day started when you were still yawning. When you love, it makes it hard. When you trust, it makes the hard. When you call, it makes the hard. When you're alone, it makes the hard. On the middle of a fight, walk away to make it right. Where we go, we're never far. In the light or in the dark, on a plane or to the stars, in a movie or at the bar, home alone or out to tea. Look to your heart and think of me. change the pace of your life. We get together, you make it good. We get together, ooh, distance makes the halo. Time to get up, I think you've been sleeping too long. My day started when you were still yawning. So that was called Distance by Emily King. She's pretty cool. She just writes some really neat stuff, and it makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy inside. So I'm going to do one more song before we bring on our first guest. And this is one by this wonderful writer and guitar player named Aaron Taylor. He's also really cool. I just think all the artists I listen to are cool. But he has this song called Blue. And it's bluesy, I'd say. So the title's very apropos. Yeah, and here it is. If you love me like you say you do, why do I feel so blue? If you love me like you say you do, why do I feel so blue? Tell me, babe, I need to know what we have is up for sure. I need to know it's on your mind. Oh, and if it's real or something else, don't keep your thoughts all to yourself. When will you let me come inside? If you love me like you say you do, why do I feel so blue? Oh yeah, if you love me like you say you do, why do I feel so blue? And if you love me, baby, why am I lonely, baby? Are you holding back from me? Oh, yeah. And if you want me, babe, come and get me, babe. You're making it hard for me, yeah. If you love me like you say you do, why do I feel so blue? Oh yeah, if you love me like you say you do, why do I feel so blue? If you love me like you say you do, why do I feel so blue? If you love me like you say you do, why do I feel so blue? If you love me like you say you do, why do I feel so blue? So that's a cool song called Blue by Aaron Taylor. Amazing. I think we're just in time to bring on our first guest. So he has been in radio and television and media for over 30 years. And he's interviewed around 7,000 artists. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. And it's been people from like Lady Gaga to Ed Sheeran to Justin Bieber to Michael Bublé, and that's just some. That is literally just baseline, like, and it's been like from the beginning of their careers, everything. And he's won numerous awards. He received an honorary degree from Humber College, and he was kind enough back in 2015 to there's the picture to introduce me at my very, very, very first album launch at the Jazz Bistro. I look tiny. Anyways, he's from Toronto, so please welcome Rudy Blair.
Oh my goodness. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I hope I can see sort of like my background's looking a little weird, but I'm outside on the veranda, so who knows how things work out. But I was just like, you know what? I want to be outside. I want to enjoy myself. So folks are watching. Ignore the background. You got me. So
It's so beautiful outside. I don't blame you. So how have you been? This year's kind of been, as it is. So how's that kind of treated you and everything going on in your life?
it's been crazy because I had to, like a lot of other people, sort of readjust and figure out how I was going to do these things because um, having my own company now, Rudy Blair Entertainment Media, RudyBlairMedia.com, I had to figure out. I was used to actually going out and doing red carpets and interviews and going to stations and meeting artists and doing all these things and sometimes doing phone interviews. Well, that all changed once the pandemic hit. So it was like, okay, Zoom is the new thing, but everybody was trying to do Zoom, and a lot of people weren't doing Zoom right and Instagram Live, and they're hitting buttons, and it's looking real bad. So I didn't want to jump on that yet, and it was really just figuring out how I was going to do things. A lot of events got either postponed or canceled. A lot of things I was used to doing, even hosting events myself in the summertime, got nixed. So again, it was a lot of adjusting, and it just seems like I feel like now, since February, I've finally gotten things together. Where now I'm doing Zoom interviews, and I think I'm doing it the proper way.
Yeah.
And I've been doing some virtual hosting and a lot more interviews. So things are slowly turning around. But it's one of those things where even a guy at my age can still learn the business no matter how much it changes, and everybody should be doing that.
Yeah, wow, absolutely. And just quickly, before we get any further, for those who don't really know you, do you want to like talk about how you got started and why did you want to choose media as a path?
Well, I've been, as you said, in radio for 30 years plus. And sorry, I have to correct you. You said 7,000, probably at 9,000
Oh, wow.
interviews
Okay, yes.
now. And it was one of those things where I wasn't really I didn't want to do interviews. I didn't want to be on air. I actually wanted to be a production guy, but opportunities came up. The station I was working at, 680 News, which always will be grateful for them giving me a platform, decided, I wanted to try something, said, hey, you guys don't have a music reporter, so why don't I do that? Started doing that. Couldn't get an interview from anybody. So I was doing artists that were so small. If I told you their names now, you would not know who the heck they were. And then slowly things started to build, and the record companies started to trust me. And the thing I always point out is one of the first series of big interviews when nobody knew who they were NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, and Christina Aguilera, because they were all on the same label back in the day. And nobody knew who these people were. I was doing interviews with them. People were asking, well, who are these kids or whatever? Well, now everybody on the planet knows who they are.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be one of the niches that I have. Thank goodness, over the years, I've had the honor to interview a lot of artists in the beginning, the Katy Perrys, as you mentioned, Justin Bieber, when he had a squeaky voice and real tiny. And so many, Ed Sheeran, as you mentioned, so many great artists. I've had the honor of interviewing them when a lot of people didn't know who they were. Avril Lavigne, I can still remember interviewing her in a hallway where people were walking by. They didn't know who this kid was. Well, they know who she is now. So that was one of those are the biggest blessings. And now being on my own too, still doing those first time interviews and watching those people grow to international stars, and it's a pleasure to be part of this industry the way I have been over the years.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Hey, I had a chance to introduce you, so
Yeah.
that says a lot. And look what you're doing with this platform, your music. You've got an old soul, incredible voice. Like, you are
Thank
definitely
you.
the future of the Canadian music industry. So
Oh, thank you so much.
just an honor to be here to talk to you.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you're here to talk to me too.
Yeah,
And
because it's just weird for me to be on the other side, though,
yeah,
being
no, I know.
interviewed.
It's so funny. I had another kind of radio personality on. I don't know, Drew Marshall came on to the show.
Yes.
Yeah, and so he came on and he's like, I'm on the other side of things. And I was like, yes, I know.
It's
So
weird.
yeah, the interviewer becomes the interviewee. So I wanted to ask you, do you have any of your like most memorable interview, like a list? Like what would be that moment that was like the most memorable thing for you?
There are so many, but let's just, for your audience, I'll just maybe mention the names of people that they would know. Let's talk about Christina Aguilera, because it was at one of the early Much Music Video Awards. And I was walking through a hallway, and I saw this very thin, pale, scraggly little girl, and I could say that, standing next to an elevator. Her hair was sort of bleach blonde and choppy. Everybody was ignoring her. And so I said to the record rep, hey, do you mind if I interview her? And she's like, yeah, please do. Nobody's talking to her. So we did an interview. She was so happy. We took a picture. And like I said, who would know that she would be one of the greatest performers on stage with one of the most incredible voices. So it's those kind of things that I enjoy so much. But I've had so many incidences, like, sitting in a record listening party with Drake, and him coming over and having a conversation. Couldn't take a picture, but having a conversation and talking about his album. And there's no people screaming or things like that. It's just conversation, or just being able to go backstage, or having artists who now know you by name and you talk to them, and it's not about the hype. It's just about, man, I haven't seen you in a long time. And that's the other beauty too, because it's like, for example, if you and I had a chance to sit down and talk, a lot of times it's like, I don't really have to do a lot of research. I just have to listen to the song, because whatever I've done with that artist, it's just really catching up. Hey, man, we haven't seen each other in a while. What are you up to? Blah, blah, blah. So you got a new song. What's going on? And then afterwards, we're talking about family. So those are the things that I really enjoy.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. And now on the flip side, is there kind of like an interview that you wish that you could forget? Like something, you don't have to name names, but like just something that might have just gone completely awry.
There have been a few that have happened. I'm trying to think of one that would really make sense. Okay. I won't say who. I've had it where maybe I remember one time, and I can't remember who the band is. It was a famous band, though, but I remember going in, sitting down, and asking them all these questions. They were looking at me like, what are you talking about? No, whoa. I went, wait a minute. So I cut the interview. And I showed them the information I had, because I would always carry the information with me just to reread over and over again. And they looked at it and they said, I don't know who put this up here. It's wrong. So I said, okay, great. So I reversed the interview, started it again, and say, okay, guys, there's so many different rumors that go out there that aren't correct. And so whatever was wrong in the story, I repeated it back to them. So is it true that you guys did it? No. And then it gave me the right answer. So
Okay.
that was very cool. Another time, very quickly, I remember, yeah, there was a band who, let's just say, and I won't give the name because I love these guys. The members had performed the night before, and they were blitzed out of their heads for me to do the interview. And to the point where no matter what question I asked, the guy was like, I really like your hair, or, hey, can we go down to the Eaton Center and buy a carpet for my aunt? She lives in Mississauga. And the record rep is going, please don't air this. Please don't air this. So I never did. Well, a couple of years later, I did do an interview with that artist again from that band.
Mm-hmm.
And I replayed him what he said. Such a big laugh. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But I mean,
That's
those are
so
the
funny.
cool things because a lot of people don't get to see that. But my thing is, I'm always going to do what I can to protect the artist. So I'm not going to put something out there to make them look bad because people don't understand what these guys go through in traveling, hotels, interviews, good interviews, bad interviews. So the fact that I get the time with them, I will do everything I can to make sure that they shine in the interviews.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you know, you've been doing this for a long time, and I was wondering, like, do you mentor? Like, do you have any like tips for people who are trying to, get better at interviewing artists and try to get that information out of them? That's like the good stuff that the fans want to hear and stuff like that.
Well, the very first thing is research. I mean, back in the day when I first started, we didn't have the websites and we didn't have Google or anything like that. I had to go to a magazine and buy one and read up on it as much as possible. Today, all people got to do is just follow the artist and they can get so much information, and their emailed information, and there's information from other interviews that they've done. But people don't do that. They just want to sit there and then they go with their written questions. Hello, so what are you doing now? I think out of 9,000 interviews, maybe 5 times I may have written those questions down. One of them, of course, I remember was Sting, because Sting was so damn big and I didn't want to mess it up. And I had heard that if he doesn't like you, he says, "Are we done? Are we done?" And I remember when I sat down in front of him, I just threw away the questions and I just drilled into it. We had a great time. But that's the first thing. Research your artist. 2, be comfortable. Right. Try to let them be comfortable. Also, let them know how important it is that you are there to sit and talk to them. Let them know that the whole focus is on them. I'm not sitting there talking about myself. I'm talking and asking questions about them. And my thing is, I look at it as this, because a lot of times people who do what I do think that they're celebrities too.
Right.
We're not celebrities. We're media personalities. If I go to another city, nobody's going to know who the heck I am. Oprah is a celebrity. Okay, so let's make sure we make that clear. I'm the middleman. My job is to ask questions that hopefully those fans want to know about, and the artist is answering those questions that I can pass along to them. That is my job. I'm not a celebrity. It's not about me. It's about them, and I will do everything I can to make sure that they know it. They shine. I will try to make it comfortable, and then I'll try to come up with something that hopefully nobody else has asked before to keep it as interesting as possible, but no weird questions, and I pay attention to them.
Right.
I will give a quick secret. I'll give it to you. One of the things I always do is when I interview somebody, I don't look them in their eyes. I'm not looking down at my pad. I look at their mouth because I want to pay attention to everything that they're saying, because they may say something. I'll go, wait a minute. Whoa, what are you just saying? Did you just say blah, blah, blah? And then suddenly we're in a whole different conversation. And when that artist knows that you care about what's going on in an interview, those walls fall, and suddenly next thing you know, they're talking about things, But one thing I will add in, though, because I've been seeing a lot of people on social media doing interviews and blah, blah, blah. Look, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've had my highs and lows. I've made my mistakes and I've done it right. People think that they can just get themselves a microphone or whatever else and think, hey, I can do interviews. I mean, you've been in the business. You've been interviewed, so you understand it. But there are people who have never been in this business who think, oh, I'm just going to do these interviews and I'm going to call up Avery and I'm going to say, hey, do an interview with me. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to prove yourself to get those interviews with you and other celebrities. A lot of people don't understand that. And to be honest with you, I see a lot of crap out there and I just go, don't do it. Don't do it. You got to really put your heart and soul into it to do it right.
Right. Wow. Thank you for all of that. I appreciate it a lot.
Sorry if I'm yelling at people.
No, it's not coming across that way at all. But thank you so much for all of your words. I appreciate it. And I think a lot of the people listening actually appreciate hearing all of that too.
Well, Thank you so much for this interview.
Course.
You and I have to do an interview. I got to reverse
Yeah.
this, and I got to put you back in your place where you're supposed to be with me talking to you. So if we can connect again, I would love to be able to sit down and chat and talk about all the things that you're doing. And again, thank you so much for allowing me to not just interview you, but to be able to introduce you, because to me, that's a moment. That's an incredible moment in my career to be able to do that with you.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And I actually, because I have a new album coming out in like the late spring, early summer. So it'd be perfect for us to connect and do something. So that'd be awesome.
Looking forward to it. And like I said, you are helping this business grow with this platform and your music. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And that is your website right there. And is there anywhere else that you want to plug before we go?
Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I just started TikTok, but you ain't going to see me dancing or anything like that. But really, Facebook, Instagram are the two biggies. Twitter, also, you'll see me post my interviews. I post Monday to Friday, sometimes on the weekends. And look out for what I'm going to be up to as the Junos are slowly approaching.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful spring day.
Well, I'm outside, so yeah, I'm going to enjoy this, definitely. You take care, and thanks again.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. So that was Rudy Blair. Pretty interesting guy and lots of words of wisdom that I appreciate a lot. So with all that being said, last show, I did a new kind of segment where I took what I post on Facebook every day and moved it to the live stream. So I'm going to be doing This Day in Music. And, there's a lot going on every day in music history. So we'll start at the top of my list. I have it all right here. So firstly, in 1961, Elvis started a 2-week run at #1 in the US singles charts with Surrender, which is pretty cool. And then in 1969, this is sweet, John Lennon married Yoko Ono. That's so cute. And then in 1971, Janis Joplin started a 2-week run. 2 weeks, that's a pretty long time, at #1 in the US single charts with her version of Chris Christopherson and Fred Foster's song Me and Bobby McGee. And then in 1982, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts started a 7-week run. That's a 7-week run at #1 on the US single charts with I Love Rock and Roll, which makes sense. It's a great song. And then this one kind of blew my mind a little bit. But born 1917 on this day, Vera Lynn, and for those who don't know, English singer-songwriter and actress, various musical recordings, widely popular during the Second World War. She would have been 104 this year, which means, and she passed away last June. She was 103 when she passed away. That, I hope, I hope I live that long. That's quite the life. That is quite the life to live. Anyways, I'm going to sing a song before, I'm going to sing a couple songs, or actually, no, I'm going to do a song and then I'll talk a little bit and then I'll bring on the next guest. But I am going to sing a song from one of these artists that I just listed, and I've decided to choose Elvis. And this is classic. Can't Help Falling in Love. Wise men say only fools rush in. I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? Oh, if falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. So take my hand and take my whole life too. Oh, for I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. So take my hand and take my whole life too. Oh, for I can't help falling in love with you. Oh, 'cause I can't help falling in love with you. Classic little Elvis tune for you. All right, so I just want to talk. Thank you, everybody. I just want to talk a little bit about RBC and the First Up program. So it's kind of this big community of artists online, and you have to audition to be a part of it and apply. And they accept a certain amount. I don't know how much, but they keep doing rounds to bring like more artists in. And so I started this almost a year ago. It's in May, I think, is when I started. And so I had to do 3 consecutive online concerts for them. And then after that, they just kept giving me opportunities. So I performed at TIFF because of them. I did a bunch of online concerts because of them, like including International Women's Day, which was pretty recently. And then the biggest project that just happened recently, which we are going to show a video for, is a national commercial across Canada that was played during the duration of the Grammys, which was really cool that I'm able to say that my face was there during while people were watching the Grammy Awards. So yeah, I don't know if we can show that video right now. There it is. Let's see.
I don't need much. Need much. I want a lot. When nothing's working, that's when I work hard. That's when I turn to music.
Keep focused. Don't focus on getting bigger. Focus on getting better. With RBC X Music, it's not just about having a big brand behind you. It's about having someone say that I believe in your vision and I want to support that.
I feel like I was brought into this super cool community of incredible artists from all across Canada. I see that music, no matter what's going on in the world, still brings people together.
I feel like I'm a walking example of the exact thing that people told me I would never become.
If there's something that you're passionate about, why give it up? There's no rhyme or reason to it. It just doesn't make sense.
You can't stop. won't stop. It's just a part of me, and I can't let it go.
I'm always holding my community on my back. I was taught from an early age, don't walk in front of me, don't walk behind me, walk beside me as my friend.
If someone tells you that what you're doing is too much, then tell them that they don't know what you can handle. RBC helped me put my music into motion.
So cool. I thought that was just awesome. And the amount of support from everybody was outrageous. It was lovely to see. So yeah, that's just some of the stuff that RBC has helped me with. And now they're helping me get a whole bunch of amazing artists that are on their roster to come and chat with me so I can promote them on this show. So with all that said, I know I'm running a little bit early, but I'd be happy to bring on this next guest. So he is a RBC First Up artist, and I'm looking forward to chatting with him a lot. So this is Braden Lam.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Am I coming through okay?
Yeah, everything sounds good. If you do want to check, because I did see in the little chat, if you do want to check the audio camera or settings, there's like the little settings button at the bottom, and you can check to see if everything's cool. But otherwise, you're coming through just fine. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm like hooked up fine. I just want to make sure I was loud enough and I'm coming through. So yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
absolutely.
This is sweet. That commercial is like so kick ass. Like, yeah.
Thank you. Oh, it was so much fun to do. So we don't know each other. And that's kind of the case for a lot of people that come onto this show. And I'm really thrilled that you're able to be here and chat with me. So I always start by asking people how this year has kind of treated them, like COVID and everything. And how has that kind of maybe motivated you or just helped you in a sense, or kind of damaged that music vision of yours? Just, yeah, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. Like for me, it was definitely a tough pill to swallow when it first went down. Like I had, I think 12 dates booked for like a full band tour across Atlantic Canada and Central Canada. And then we had like a bunch of showcases and stuff we had to cancel, lost a whole bunch of money in like flights. So it was like, I was pretty bitter about it at first. And I was like finishing my degree at university at the same time. So it was just like a really stressful kind of spring last year. But after that all cleared, I kind of had some like really nice time off, had a bit of a chance to reset and kind of like refocus after this like big disruption in my life. And so, yeah, like honestly, since then, I think I've tried to just make the best of the situation. Something I keep reminding myself and reminding like my other peers who are in the music community is that like, it's not like only my career is being impacted by COVID. Like everybody is being set back. In the pandemic. I think especially like as a young musician, it like can kind of be stressful to think like, oh man, I'm like wasting these like early years of my career. But it's like, yeah, I keep reminding myself that everybody's in the same boat. And yeah, other than that, like I've been, kind of just adapting as I go. Instead of playing full band shows, I was able to do some like touring with my good friend Caitlin as like a duo for the first time. I've never played in like a duo format. And like we did some kind of like stripped back acoustic shows in the Atlantic bubble here. I'm in Halifax, by the way.
Yes.
Those who are watching, I'm a Halifax, Nova Scotia based artist. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Everybody was kind of in that same boat. And I, like you, had a bunch of stuff booked because I did the Ontario Contact, and I'm assuming you did kind of like the Atlantic one. Yeah. So I had like soft seat theaters kind of booked, and then it was like, but yeah, I mean, I being young, I'm like, I'm running out of time, but I just have to just like, whatever. Everyone's going through the same thing. But you just put out, I don't know how recent, but an album. And I want you to talk about that a little bit, like your writing process and what inspired you to create the music that you did.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I released this EP back in October. It's called Inside Four Walls. And
oh wait, I'm gonna pause you for just a second. Could you turn up your volume a little bit, like the gain on your microphone?
Totally. Is that better?
I think so.
Okay.
I can hear you fine. It's just I'm getting like messages, but yeah, okay. Just go ahead.
I can scooch closer to my mic too.
Cool.
Yeah, so I released an EP called Inside Four Walls this past October, and we actually started recording it in February of 2020, and then like we were half finished the album when COVID hit, but we were like able to finish it throughout the summer, and then yeah, essentially like Inside Four Walls is kind of a title that a lot of people have asked, like, oh, is that related to the pandemic, like being stuck inside? And it was actually like a title that came to me much before the pandemic even happened.
Interesting.
It's about confining your perspective to like what you already know or how you were raised, and not being open to like expanding your views and being open to other perspectives and other views. Being like raised in a small hometown and then moving out to a city where I knew absolutely no one, I experienced a lot of change in my life, and I found myself like really opening up to all sorts of different views and opinions. And then, especially with this pandemic, I think there's been all sorts of social movements, like take the Black Lives Matter movement, for example, that for so many people finally put like this really important conversation on the table about why Black Lives Matter, why we need to focus on the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I really had a ton of time to reflect on like my platform as a musician and how I use my privilege in not amplifying my voice necessarily, but trying to use that to amplify marginalized voices in my community. And so, yeah, this album is kind of about taking that first step of looking outside of the four walls that confine your perspective and being open to like a better future and a better world where you're kind of in being a part of a community essentially. So yeah, all the songs kind of touch on this idea a bit. Some of them are love songs, some of them are songs about climate action, some of them are songs inspired by my travels over the past couple years. So yeah.
That's awesome. And as a songwriter, how do you kind of start? Is it music first and lyrics, or vice versa? I always like to pick people's brains about their writing process as a writer.
Yeah, for sure. For me, it probably varies per song. I don't really think I have like a set structure. I mostly write on acoustic guitar and sing, and then like most of the time something just like kind of happens. Like I'll have an idea and something just flows out of me. Usually it's guitar and melody at the same time.
Mm,
And then maybe that's like part of a chorus or part of a verse.
right.
And then I try to really just develop and expand that idea as much as possible. I'm a really big fan of like point form notes. So if I have like a chorus idea, I'll like take my notebook and just write out all like the possible plots or endings or like ideas that come to mind, and then I'll try to work those into some sort of like verse to chorus story that makes sense.
Right. I wanted to ask you, how did you first hear about the RBCX Music First Up program?
Yeah, I remember hearing about it a couple years ago. It would have been, I think, Neon Dreams from Halifax were like part of like one of the very early first rounds. And then my friend Natalie, who plays under the name Loviet, was also a part of the last round before me. So yeah, it was just been a couple like East Coast connections who have been a part of the program, and then yeah, I got accepted into the most recent round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
So I'm fairly new to the program, but it's been really awesome so far. They've already sent a couple of really cool opportunities my way in virtual stuff like this. It's been great.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you going to perform a tune for us today?
Yeah, I would love to. I was thinking I'd try out like a new song I'm working on, since we were talking about songwriting and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. You can set it up if you want to, or you don't have to, but I'll let you take it away.
Okay, got my guitar right here. This is a tune I wrote about that feeling of coming home with your partner or a loved one after a really long day's work, and kind of getting caught in this cycle of working the 9 to 5, then you get home and you're so exhausted, all you want to do is like just crash and watch a movie and not talk about your day, because that's all you've been doing all day. But it's about that like feeling of that desire to communicate and like share your day with your family or your loved ones, even though it's been an exhausting one. So it's called Linen Sheets.
sheets are calling our bodies back to rest. Please, dear, don't start talking as the pillow takes your head. And get home, throw your feet up. Don't tell me we have plans. My whole body's aching, the exhaustion in my hands. Love, tell me what's your day been like before we fade away into the night. Bodies never shifted place mid-conversation, weight heavy on my eyes. Oh, tomorrow when you wake up, you'll be leaving 6 a.m. Take your breakfast and your coffee and all the verbals left unsaid. La-di-da-di-da-da, la-di-da-di-da, la-di-da-di-da-da, la-di-da-di-da. Love, tell me what's your day been like before we fade away into the night. Bodies never shifted place mid-conversation, weight heavy on my eyes. Oh,
That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. I wanted to ask you kind of how you got started in music, like why music? And also, you had also mentioned that you were finishing up a year in school last year when the pandemic hit. Was that for a degree in music or something else?
No, something totally different. I actually did a degree in biology and environmental science. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what is your heart set on? What do you want to do? Music or?
Yeah, right now it's music. So I'm not doing anything related to my degree at the moment. It's like been super tough in the job market, of course, but also like kind of at the point in my life where like I have my degree now and I think it's worthwhile to like shoot my shot at the music career. And you know, if I don't take that time in life to do this now, if I just like jump into a career in something else, I think I'll seriously regret like not pursuing music. So yeah, this is like pretty much doing music part-time, full-time right now. I just launched a small business recently with my wife to kind of keep some steady income coming in, but yeah, mostly just working on music these days. And I originally got into it when I was like super young. I have 2 older brothers, and like they kind of, I guess when you have older siblings, like you don't really want to follow in their like footsteps all the time. Like, you know, they have their own thing that they're passionate about and they do. Like whether it's, you know, I think one of my brothers was like really into art and like painting, and then my other brother was like really into sports. And for me, like I was kind of a mix of both, but my mom like put me into guitar lessons really early on, and that kind of sparked my musical passions. And I really got into like John Mayer in high school and like just became a huge fan of him, and then like
classic
transitioned into a lot of Canadian indie bands like Hey Rosetta, Said the Whale, were like really formative for me in like my early high school years, and then kind of got me into like the indie singer-songwriter scene really. And ever since like the end of high school, I've been, you know, releasing music and really taking my career and like songwriting skills more seriously.
Wow. And so does your second passion for like biology and everything correlate with your initiative for the tree planting, which we haven't really talked about? But I saw it on your website. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so definitely like a big passion of mine is still like environmental conservation, and like that was kind of my main focus of my degree was like animal biology, wildlife biology, and conservation, like system design. So how to like conserve animals essentially. And a big part of that is like climate action and dealing with the ongoing climate crisis. And so there's a song on my new EP called Forest Fires. And it's a song that I wrote when I was up in the Yukon a couple summers ago. And I was able to help organize the Fridays for Future climate strikes. And this is like 2019 when this was like probably like the biggest headline of the year.
Yeah.
This was when like Greta Thunberg like really kind of blew up in popularity, and all these strikes were happening every other Friday. And I was just like super inspired by like, these were like grade 6 students who were leading most of these rallies, like walking around government buildings and like
That's
cheering.
awesome.
And we're at the particular area I was in was actually having a record-breaking summer of forest fires. And so there was smoke everywhere. Like we were like literally screaming into forest fire smoke, and like you couldn't even see the mountains that were around us. Like it was thick.
wow.
And yeah, it kind of just like hit me, I guess, this irony of trying to like protect and celebrate Earth while it's like literally being destroyed by a ripple effect of climate change. And so I wrote that tune called Forest Fires, and part of the initiative of promoting my album was that anybody who pre-ordered an album also planted a tree in deforested areas of Atlantic Canada. So I partnered with Tree Canada, which is a really awesome organization. And then my employer is a local small business here in Halifax called Goodmore Kombucha, offered to like double the like match the donations. So we were able to plant like 100 trees in Atlantic Canada with the album release, which is really fun for like my inner environmental to kind of merge both of my worlds together, music and environmentalism. Yeah.
That's so wonderful to hear. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. You sound wonderful. You're a wonderful songwriter. And I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to chat with me and all these people watching. So where can people find you, and any upcoming events you want to promote?
Yeah, you can find me online at Braden Lam. I think my website's right there. Check me out. That's also similar to my like Instagram social media handle. Find me on there. And any events coming up, there is a Climate Live event on April 24th. It's going to be streamed online, and it's an event actually that's happening internationally, but there's a Canadian chapter of youth that are organizing a concert for climate action, April 24th, which is kind of like the next thing I'll be participating in coming up. And then, yeah, I'm just songwriting lots these days, working on my next album. So
Yay. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. This is a blast and really nice to meet you.
Yes, you too. Yeah. All the best.
All right. Happy Saturday, everybody.
Yes. So go check out Braden Lam. He sounds wonderful. I'm glad I get to kind of meet new artists doing this, and I'm going to meet a whole bunch more as we continue these live streams. Anywho, I am going to do a couple more tunes, and I'll see you all on your way. All right. So if you don't know what Patreon is, I think you should go check it out. It's a platform for you to support artists and get things in return. So I post things, exclusive songwriting stuff, or processes, Q&As, live streams, just a bunch of neat things. So recently, I will be posting, some more stuff. A lot of it is some cool things that I have to do for school and projects that a lot of people don't really get to hear. So this is one of them, but I'm not going to play it the way that I played it for the assignment. It will be that way on Patreon, but it won't be that way here. But we had to take a song and reharmonize it. And basically that means changing all of the harmony. So I chose, it has to be jazz standard as well. And I chose Misty, but I'm not going to do the reharmed version for you. I'm just going to do the regular Misty. If you want to hear the reharmed version, you have to go to Patreon. But this is Misty. Look at me. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. I feel like I'm clinging to a cloud I can't understand. I get misty just holding your hand. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. It could be the sound of your hellos, that music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. You could say that you're leading me on, but that's just what I want you to do. Can't you see how hopelessly I'm lost from following you on my own, as I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove. I'm too misty and too much in love. Thank you. So that is Misty. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, so I'll do one more tune. And yeah, okay. So I also just want to say, if you don't know what the Memphis show is or Heart of Indie Radio, you should go check them out. They're wonderful. It's a great team and some wonderful radio stations that support independent artists like myself and other amazing independent artists. It's a great platform and it's helped me a lot. And I'm a co-host, and I co-host the Memphis show, and we talk about Memphis soul and blues and jazz and all things that I love. So yes, go check it out. It's Friday nights in the evening, and yeah, that's their website, and you can listen to anything on Mixcloud. There's podcasts and whatnot. So yes, all super exciting. All right, so one more song and I'll see you on your way. This is an original called Newfound Happiness. The memories stay while the feelings melt away. Nothing more to say, 'cause I'm sorry we'll have to wait. And you were already gone, and I hope she helped you move on. Everything that you did wrong carried on for far too long, and let the rain wash away all the pain that was felt yesterday. I watched the love run dry. No, there's nowhere for you to hide. 'Cause baby, when you looked at me, oh, I could hardly breathe. It felt the same when I left. But now I've heard that you've moved on, 'cause 'cause you were too far gone. But now I guess I'm left with this newfound happiness. This newfound happiness. I lived a lie, and your mind was just too damn high. So I had to say goodbye. Didn't know it'd be the last time, but the skies will part, and I'm just mending my beating heart. You were different at the start, but some things just fall apart. And let the rain wash away all the pain that was felt yesterday. I watch the love run dry. No, there's nowhere for you to hide. 'Cause baby, when you looked at me, oh, I could hardly breathe. It felt the same when I left. But now I've heard that you've moved on, 'cause you were too far gone. But now I guess I'm left with this newfound happiness. This newfound happiness. Baby, when you looked at me, oh, I could hardly breathe. It felt the same when I left. But now I've heard that you've moved on, 'cause you were too far gone. But now I guess I'm left with this newfound happiness. This newfound happiness. This newfound happiness. Happiness. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you watching me and supporting me. And thank you so much to Rudy Blair and Braden Lam. You both were wonderful to talk to today. So I will see you all next time in a week and a bit. So thank you so much and have a lovely evening. Bye, everybody.